Let's talk about the funding ratios and looking at a deal. So we're going to dive back in and we're going to start looking at the profit requirement rule again. And okay, we have our assumptions. 250,000 is the RV. We've got our purchasing costs, our holding costs, our selling costs, our cost of repairs. We want to make sure that, hey, we're getting a little money for our effort. And then we're going to look at the results of that. And in this case, we're looking at a maximum offer of 177,500. So that's the most we could offer on the property. And because of that, I need to have 215,000 in funding. Okay, that's going to be the cost to purchase the property, any purchasing costs, any holding costs, and the cost of repairs. So that's the money I need to get it down to the end where it's ready to flip. And as I start looking at that, I want to put in how much funding capacity I have on my own. And if I had 10,000, well, that's going to make things pretty hard. I really want to be up here in the 20% range because, most hard money lenders are only going to want to give you 80%. And so the reality of this is, even though I'm seeing a good deal and I know what my maximum offer is, my ratios are off. I got to get those up higher. And so I start looking at that and I start, hey, I'm going to need to get some more funds. And as I march up the scale here, I may take a peek at when I get to about 10% here. And 10%, okay, there are some lenders out there that will do 90%. Okay. And then in that case, I would need to have 21,500 available to me. Like I said, the likelihood is I'm going to have to march all the way up here until I get to 20% funding capacity and get that additional funding down to 80%. And so as I march through, I just kind of see that, okay, to get those numbers green, I need to have 43,000 of my own funds. If you have them, that's fantastic. You can go forward. You're looking at making this offer. If you don't, if you still only have 10, then you've got to come up with a way to get the other 31,000. I suggest corporate credit and getting some funding that way. If you don't use that, then you're talking to family, friends, you're just trying to make this deal happen because you can see it. The deal's tangible. Look at the numbers. You feel confident in the numbers, but you got to have the funding ratios to make the deal. So we're always thinking, hey, 20% is what we're going to need. And then think of the value of saying, you know what, I'm out there and I got 50,000 via corporate credit. And you feel good because, hey, I have the funding required and I still have some extra there. So those are the type of things I want you thinking about as you look at the funding ratios and your ability to do a deal.